Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, that cloud cover cleared out, and then from the south, as I move out of the way, a pretty good blanket made its way in across the entire Concho Valley, and then we held into those freezing levels. We got up to 32 degrees, and by tonight, we're going to drop back down to 20, but I promise you, we are on the warm-up. Now, this cloud cover is going to stick around for a little bit longer before the weekend, and then we're on the lookout for some light rain before things push up into the 80s. Temperatures over the last 24 hours, if you can see them really at the bottom of the chart, really pushing up to that blistering 32 degrees, and we'll see how fastly we cool down as those winds turn out of the east, and we're still dealing with some of this thick, low cloud cover. 32 in San Angelo, everybody else in a combination of those lower 30s across the entire region right now. 31 in Sterling City, 37 up there in Robert Lee and Ballinger, and then 32 down there in Sonora and Junction. So 3 degrees across the entire Concho Valley, if not a little bit more if you want to count that from Sterling City to Robert Lee. 6 degrees, but it's still relatively close together. Seeing some of those moisture conditions really come closer together with that cloud cover is what I'm trying to say, but it feels a little cooler than that out there in those 20s across the entire region. And then tonight, going to level out in those actual 20s. Now, we're keeping our eye on the moisture and the instability really hovering around the coastal regions. Now, it's going to feel more winter weather as it moves off towards the northeast, but things are warming up. Record highs could be on their way, so things could quickly turn into rain instead of snow. But off the west coast, a monster storm is really just taking aim there at Northern California. Upper level pattern. As we continue to push through, you'll see a little bit of the shortwave troughing could try to fight its way into the Concho Valley. That's what's going to keep us cool into that Friday evening. So I owe you another beautiful weekend. But as we get closer towards that last week of February, take a good look at the size of this ridging pushing its way into the Concho Valley. It's going to fire us all the way up into those 80s, and then we're going to level out in those 70s. So everywhere from about Arizona into the Concho Valley, going for a record high come Monday. Take a good look at the water vapor imagery, keeping our eye on the circulation moving down around Utah. I don't think it's going to kick up a whole lot of activity, but there is a little bit of instability working its way up from Mexico, and so we're going to be in the crosshairs. Severe weather outlook quiet across the entire nation. And finally, those winter weather alerts have expired across the northern part of the nation. That was about 6 weeks of winter weather. Still going strong with some of those cold weather alerts and some of those winter weather watches, but things are on the warm up over the Concho Valley, keeping our eye on that low cloud cover continuing to make its way in. We take you into the futurecast because we're going to continue to watch this clear air and then this low cloud cover push back and forth. By Friday morning, we're keeping our eye on some of this low cloud cover. Could be a little of those misty conditions. It right now is looking like rain. Earlier in the week it was ice, but as things continue to warm up, we're really just sort of timing things out between Friday morning, Sunday morning, and when those temperatures will push past those freezing levels. Speaking of that, tonight dropping into those 20s, and then we're going to see how fast we warm up. And then I promise you, this will be the last time you see this chart for a while with all this data. I don't think we're going to see these temperatures anytime soon. So tonight, back down into those 20s. If you have to go outside, bundle up. Then tomorrow, a good run at those 40s, but right back down into those freezing levels as we make our way closer towards the weekend, warming up into those 50s by Saturday, 70s by Sunday. By next week, going for that record high around those 80s, but we're going to level out in those 70s while those overnight lows finally push up into those 50s. Stay tuned. Welcome up to the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.